What's up guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne and today I'm here with my review of Cult of Chucky, which is the sequel to Curse of Chucky, which is the first of two direct-to-DVD installments in the Child's Play series. Don Mancini is still leading the ship on the Child's Play franchise, which I think is 7 movies long now, so it's pretty cool that one guy has, led the whole series from start to maybe finish with this one. So this movie stars Fiona Dourif, who is the daughter of Brad Dourif, and he's the guy who's voiced Chucky in every single movie, and of course he's doing it again in this one. Jennifer Tilly is back as Tiffany, even though they make a joke about her playing, like multiple different people in the series, and Alex Vincent is back as Andy. So this one is the whole big reunion of everyone, and unfortunately it suffers for that, but I will get into that in a little bit. First, I want to talk about Curse of Chucky, which I think is a far superior movie to this one. I really like that one because it put Chucky in a house. It was horror instead of being horror comedy, and Fiona's character of Nika was really cool. She was wheelchair bound as a paraplegic, and the plot really did set up some cool ideas, and there were some great scares, some great kills. All around, it was just great, especially for how big the odds were stacked against it. So this movie is very confident in what it wants to do, and that's why I think it doesn't work. It picks up a few years after the first movie. Nika's in a mental hospital, and she thinks she committed the murders in the first movie. She's convinced that she made up Chucky in her head, and it was all her. Things get kind of crazy though when the doctor brings her a good guy doll, and she does realize it's alive, and it's Chucky, and he's going on a murderous rampage. There's a new layer to Chucky here that I think works pretty well. So in case you don't know the lore of the Child's Play series, Chucky is a guy named Charles Lee Ray who, as he was dying, transferred his soul into a good guy doll, and then he became the Chucky doll, and no one's ever been able to fully kill him. In this movie, there are multiple Chuckies. He's figured out how to put his soul into, multiple dolls and multiple human beings. That was his goal all along in the beginning, but he figured out how to put himself into a little girl, and now he's got a bunch of dolls running around and presumably people running around that he's possessed. The thing that drags this movie down is the mental asylum it takes place in. It's stark white, but you can tell they only did that because it's cheaper to, not furnish a mental asylum. And it's just boring and bland to look at, and it's just not inhabited very well. Like, no one really feels like they live there. It feels like they're just actors acting in a movie, and I didn't like that. It didn't feel lived in or real like the house from the first movie. Also, they take a ton of liberties with mental illness. It's just kind of hammy. It doesn't work very well, and the cast of characters are all pretty much unlikable. They're trying to go for a Dream Warriors vibe with it, but it just doesn't really work because you don't like any of the characters and you kind of want them all to die. They're all really weird and they all make weird decisions that don't make sense, which I guess is kind of thing that happens in the Child's Play series, but it just left me confused, which is weird because this movie is 87 minutes long. Also, the budget kind of shows with how often, or how little I should say, you actually see of Chucky in his full-bodied form. You always see his hands or his feet walking or his face, talking, but you never see him really doing anything as the doll. It's kind of weird. It's all stationary stuff and it doesn't really work. There's actually only 2 extended kill scenes in this entire movie that don't really happen off camera. One of them is pretty cool. It involves glass. I really liked it. It was kind of gross and there was CGI involved, but they did okay with it. And then the second one was just full-on practical effects featuring multiple dolls attacking one person, and that one was great. All the other kills though happen off screen, and you don't know what happens. They're just stupid throwaway kills that are only there so you have something to snap you back into it when you're starting to get bored. Like I said earlier, I was really excited for Andy to be back, Alex Vincent, but his plot is just stupid and unnecessary. It doesn't feed into the actual movie at all. They literally just wrote him an arc to get him in the movie, and then once he was in the movie, they were like, he doesn't really need to be in this movie, but we're going to keep him in it anyway because it's name recognition. And I honestly think if you just took every scene featuring his character out, the movie would not be any different, and it might even make a little more sense. Luckily, Jennifer Tilly holds it together with the whole cult idea. It's not really a cult though, because it's just anyone that Chucky has possessed. So it's just anyone who has Charles Lee Ray's mind in them. So the whole idea of calling it a cult doesn't really work, It's not a cult. It's just like Chucky has split himself between multiple different dolls and multiple different people. And I'm just kind of getting way too deep into this movie for what it is, I think. So who's this movie for? I think if you're a massive super fan of the Child's Play series and you want to see where the lore goes next, this movie's for you. It's basically all lore. It literally serves just to set up the story for a future movie, and it kind of ends on the climax, so it's going to excite you for whatever comes next. If you're not into the whole idea of a doll that kills people and you want like a really smart commentary on what the slasher genre was in the 80s, don't watch this movie. You're not gonna like it, you're gonna hate it, and it's not gonna give anything to you. But if you're just looking for some dumb fun that's on a direct-to-DVD movie and you're willing to forgive some pretty major plot holes and mistakes, I think Cult of Chucky might be for you. But other than that, I would just wait till it's on Netflix, because Curse of Chucky got on Netflix pretty quick, and I think this one is too. It's a bummer because I am a huge fan of the Child's Play series, and it looked like the series was going in a really, really cool direction at the end of Curse of Chucky, which I went into with very low expectations that were blown out of the water. But hey, what can you do? Hopefully it makes enough money and they get to finish the obvious trilogy that this is setting up. So there you have it, guys. That's my review of Cult of Chucky. I'm sorry it couldn't be a good one. I really wanted to like this movie, but it is Halloween season, so we'll have some great stuff to talk about coming up real soon. Anyways, guys, I'm Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.